So go on, what's your favourite Shaun of the Dead moment?
I think it has to be the part where they absolutely just wipe that guy out and he snaps in half and goes, "You alright, mate?" Fucking brilliant. Also, yes, today is a drinking video. Yay! Oddly, for a film widely considered one of the finest released this millennium, Shaun of the Dead only actually ended up grossing about $30 million at the box office. Weirdly though, this still ended up making the film a commercial success, largely thanks to director Edgar Wright hustling like a motherfucker.
How did a movie that only made 30 million have a profit?
Yeah, the first thing we should address is like, Shaun of the Dead only made $30 million at the box office. That film was like a cultural phenomenon, wasn't it? It was so good. I think it made a lot of its money on DVD sales.
Yeah.
It's one of those like early movies that's made like DVD sales was through the fucking roof. But no, it was like one of those quiet sleeper hits at cinemas that like word of mouth made it popular. But yeah, it was still a success with only $30 million made, which for reference, that sounds like a lot of money, but that's barely even the marketing budget for some movies released today. I think like Marvel movies spend about $100 million on marketing.
Something like that.
Yeah, they spend like 3 times what this movie made in its entire theatrical run on like posters and shit.
So if Shaun of the Dead made a profit,
Yes.
the budget must have been quite low.
Yes, it was about $6 million, and it was originally supposed to be slightly higher than that, but the production company financing the movie inexplicably slashed the budget without warning for no reason, and then told Edgar Wright that he still had to make the movie anyway, which left the cast and crew looking like, well, like Shaun does throughout most of the movie. That's his like go-to thing. That's the look on his face. Duh.
Well, that's intentional, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like the symbolism is that we're
Shaun
all
is
zombies.
We're all zombies because we all work 9 to 5. We're all mindless drones doing our jobs. And like Edgar Wright is a director who I really appreciate for like putting shit like that in his movies. There's so much depth to this movie about people slapping zombies with cricket bats. Like Edgar Wright is a master of that style of filmmaking. And he's like so proficient at the use of Chekhov's gun in films. If people don't know Chekhov's gun, it's like a concept in filmmaking where if you introduce something at the start of the movie, like a gun, by the end of the movie or the TV episode, it should be used. And Edgar Wright just is so good at it because everything he sets up pays off at the end of the movie. So what's your favourite example of that from Shaun of the Dead?
Well, I think it's the literal gun, like the shotgun above the bar.
Yeah, where they have an entire scene talking about it being loaded.
Yeah, whether or not it's loaded.
And then at the end of the film, it is loaded. And then they have the callback to earlier when it was like, dog can look up. I think mine is when they're leaving and they tell like zombie Peter Serafinowicz, we're going to the pub later if you want to come. And then his zombie turns up. His zombie actually comes to the pub. Like they mention it and he comes. It's great. You know what? Fuck it. We're going off on one now. Brad, favourite moment in Hot Fuzz? Because I've got one. And it's the moment where the female police officer hits the woman in the face with the fucking wet floor sign. And it is the most brutal hit I have ever seen in a movie. And she just goes, oh, you can't beat a bit of girl on girl.
It's funny you say that, because the moment I was going to say is when Shaun drop kicks the old woman with a shotgun.
Oh man, it's
It's just so extreme. Okay, back to Shaun of the Dead.
Yes.
So what did Edgar Wright do when the budget for the film was just slashed?
He shit himself because doing that very almost bankrupted him because he was so committed to making Shaun of the Dead and like, you know, realising his vision for the film that he refused to take another directing gig until it got made. And obviously slashing the budget, like, you know, heavily restricted his ability to do that. And one of the first things he had to do was decide, okay, how do I save money? And he realised, well, yeah, one of the chief expenditures on a movie is the cast, so I'm going to have to, in his own words, get rid of the better known actors I'd pegged for some parts.
So do we know any of the actors who are meant to be playing some of the parts?
We do, yes. Liz and Barbara, in Edgar Wright's original treatment for the script, were going to be offered to Kate Winslet and Helen Mirren.
Oh!
Yeah, this film almost had Helen Mirren being a zombie in it, and apparently they did reach out to it, and she said she very politely declined. Like, you know, in the nice way that you imagine Helen Mirren doing. They even make a joke about this as well, because Joe later in the movie, where Shaun bumps into like his friend from work,
Yeah.
and they have like the parallel of every single person in his group.
Shaun. You're fine.
Like Edgar Wright makes a joke about saying, yeah, I like the idea that while your own zombie adventure is happening, there's a better one with better actors in it happening just across the screen. Because like, they all have the better idea, don't they? Like, they have the better idea of how to like escape. So they're going to like the military base and he's going to the pub.
The pub.
Yeah.
Right, well, good luck.
Edgar Wright went, okay, I can't like really afford any big name actors. What I'll do is I'll go ask the people who appeared in this sitcom I made called Spaced. So I recommend it if you're not seen it. It's really it's Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. It's the first thing they properly worked on together. It's like there's a lot of elements from Shaun of the Dead. I think Shaun of the Dead is directly inspired by an episode in Spaced where Simon Pegg's character plays Resident Evil 2.
Oh, shit.
Hiya.
Don't sneak up on me like that.
So Edgar Wright basically just approached actors he'd worked on that and asked them if they'd work for a reduced fee on his movie because he had no fucking money to spend. He wanted to use the budget on zombie makeup. And then we reached out to fans of Space on a fan website and said, do you want to be in a movie with Nick Frost and Simon Pegg in it, directed by me, and he gets to dress like a zombie? We'll pay you £1. And they obviously their thing was that they get to be in the film in an uncredited role as a zombie. And you'd think if you're paying these people £1, at the very least you wouldn't try and take the piss, but no, Edgar Wright took the fucking piss and he made them work for many hours, sometimes doing things that we the audience didn't even notice. My favourite example of that being, do you know the scene where they're in the Winchester and you can hear the zombies banging on the walls outside?
Yeah. You
think, what do they do, just pipe that noise in? No, Edgar Wright had the extras stood outside in zombie makeup, slapping against the windows for realism. But what cracks me about that though is, if you put in any random shot now of a scene that has a lot of zombies in it, all of the actors in that scene collectively probably earned less than Nick Frost did for scratching his balls.
I ain't got nothing. What? You ain't got nothing at all? I've only got an emery myself.
So how else did Edgar Wright save money?
By maximising the amount of time they shot for per day. The best example of this being the film's 2 one-shots of Shaun walking to and from the shops, pre and post zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, those 2 shots were filmed back to back in a single day.
Why did he choose to film both of those on the same day?
As a flex on the production crew, because he'd heard rumours that people working on the film who'd been in the industry quite a long time didn't think he'd cut his teeth in the movie industry enough to helm a major motion picture. So he thought, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to show them what I can do by filming the 2 most technically difficult and impressive scenes in the film back to back on the same day, on the first day of production, just to show him what I'm about. And apparently after that, he never heard a single complaint about how his skill as a director again.
I always think it's really impressive when you get the freshmen or the new fish in,
Yeah.
and they do something awesome straight away.
Yeah, just to establish how bad. That's basically a trope in fiction, isn't it? The unproven badass who everyone underestimates walks in and does this insanely difficult thing first time without trying. It's like when I used to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and I think in Tony Hawk's Underground 2, there's a bit where you're the unproven skater from New Jersey. It's like, oh yeah, I'll put in the amateur competition, and you have someone going on doing a manual and a kickflip, and I walk in, do a 4 million point combo for a manual that's got 600 different moves in it, and I'm just basically hovering around like a Jedi, my board flying fucking everywhere, and I land, and they go, that's okay, that's worth a 93. What?
You know the gauntlet at the start of the Call of Duty thing,
Yeah.
the Kill House. I watched somebody do a speed run of that first gauntlet
Yeah,
level.
you can do
training
it in
level.
10 seconds, can't
Yeah,
you?
this guy did it in 8, and when he finished, he walked back to Captain Price, who came out with the line. I think it's something along the lines of, "Oh, that's an improvement, but it's not hard to improve on garbage. Try again."
This psychic super soldier who was flying through the air, shooting through walls, hitting targets before they even appear. Yeah, he's a guy who wants to improve. If he improves his skills, he's going to ascend into heaven and shoot God in the dick. You do not want this recruit to have more power.
So is that it, or were there any other ways he tried to save money?
Well, Edgar Wright also, for the music for the film, used the cheapest possible stock music he could get his hands on. Purposely as a homage to Dawn of the Dead, which also used the same stock footage and music, but mostly to save money, so he could get that Queen song. because that's the fucking best, isn't it? When they beat that zombie in rhythm to Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. That scene is amazing, it cannot be touched. But, Brad, just like, a thought exercise, what song do you think could also fit during that scene?
Two Finger Johnny.
You know what? Edit that. Edit our theme song.
I love how we've claimed that as our theme song. I bet, because obviously that's the Kevin MacLeod one. It's
Kevin MacLeod, like Big Dick OG.
What a fucking hero.
Yeah, like giving. You know what? It's free music for everybody. Just put my name at the bottom. It's fine. Use it for whatever you want in any commercial situation possible. Fucking baller ass pimp.
Yeah,
Kevin.
we haven't given that guy enough credit. Go to his website and donate.
You know what? Like, put like a link. Like, you know what? Get rid of for this video. Get rid of our like links to our social media. Put his social media. That guy's a fucking hero. So to conclude this glorious mess of a video, the final result of Edgar Wright hustling like a motherfucker was a movie filmed on a tighter budget than the moon landing. That, thanks to the efforts of the production crew, the cast, the director, and all those zombie extras who were paid £1 for appearing in the film, ended up being a moderate commercial success. How's that for a slice of fried gold, motherfuckers?
Since we're talking about Simon Pegg,
Yeah.
you ever thought in like 20 years' time, you'll just be like the Gary King of like Fact Fiend, or just of our group in general?
I am very worried about the fact that in 10 years' time, I will be salty about the fact I'm no longer successful on YouTube, because me and you, we've done the research on this, haven't we? We've looked at people from like, even just like 5 years ago, who were like, at the time, like people in like YouTube rewinds and stuff like that, like they were like the face of the platform for like however brief a period, who are still making videos today trying to cling to that form of fame. My birthday, and your birthday in fact, was like a week or so ago, and we're 28 each now. And a friend of mine pointed out that you'll probably be able to do this to about 35, after which point it becomes sad. So at most, we've got 7 years of YouTube left, Brad. So what are your plans after YouTube goes tits up? Because who the fuck's going to watch a 35-year-old person drinking and talking about facts?
I don't know, my plan was always to set up a visual effects house.
What you need to do though, if you're going to advertise that, just use the clip of Carrie Fisher just T-posing. That's how you sell it. 'Cause I guarantee you will get so many applicants to that house.
Yeah, but that's not showing visual effects, that's just showing an edit with a bit of audio change.
You know what though? He's fucking brilliant. He's better than anything Star Wars have put out.
But no, I was going to, once I set up the visual effects house, I was then going to open like a school.
A school?
No, because what I mean, not like...
You want to teach kids how to be fact fiends?
No, I meant like an adult training centre for visual effects stuff that actually gets you into the industry.
As opposed to like, oh, here's how you do this shit, but like, fuck you, bye when you ask it. Oh God. It was in the freezer, so it's a bit wet. Keep going. I'm going to keep spinning it though.
I'm sure I'm going to have like a dark patch down there from where you spill drinks every week.
Yeah, and where I piss myself every time. Why do you think these things are filmed from the waist up, folks? Not wearing any pants. The American kind.
I get to see Carl's big wanger every day.
You do, don't you?
Yeah, it's not as impressive as you think.
It's not. It's bigger than you'd hope, but smaller than you'd think.
Just going to wrap my head around that.
Yep.
Wait, no. Delete that bit, Brad.
Yep.
I'm probably going to put that in, aren't I?
You know what?
Wait, no. I'm just going to stop talking.
Probably a good idea. Do you know what my plan is for like all this shit we're doing for YouTube? Like, I've told people about this dream, and like people have laughed at me for it. My dream is to open a pub. I just want to buy a pub, I'll get a lease on a pub, and just run a pub. But not a specific, I want to run a shit pub. I want a pub that only like 40 people go to, so I've got regulars. And I want to work in that pub like 4 hours a day, where I just like pull pints for 4 hours, then fuck off wherever I want to go. Other than YouTube, the best job I have ever had was just working in a pub, pulling pints, just chatting to people, because I got to like meet so many people because of it. It was such a good laugh. I just want to do that again. I'd happily do it for the rest of my life. So yeah, in 7 years' time, look forward to this channel just imploding, because YouTube will probably demonetize everything that isn't like, you know, T-series or some shit. So if you're not making like Indian music videos, you can fuck right off. And we'll just like, Brad will open his visual effects studio and become like a media mogul. And I'm like, I'm just going to open a pub. I'm just there working, pulling my pints. And if people come in and ask about a fact thing, I'll block them.
How do you block someone in a pub?
You get barred.
You're barred.
You're barred. I will continue. My reign of terror will continue. Because everyone who walks in asks you about Fact Fiend or wearing a green morph suit gets barred.
Maybe Carl is vampire.
Barred. Oh, man, mate, we've got a Fact Fiend themed pub where you're barred for talking about Fact Fiend. That's a fucking money idea.
No, it's not. It's the opposite. That's why you've got regulars. It's the people who know not to say anything.
And I could call it Big Wangers Inc. The pub's just called Big Wangers. And I get like an old-timey pub sign made that just says Big Wangers on
No,
it.
you need to have an old-timey like pub-style name.
Yeah, ye old Big Wanger.
Didn't mean that. No. I meant like the three wangers.
Oh, yeah. We have very different goals from this YouTube lark, mate, but you know what? Hopefully we'll both achieve them.